Hey guys, and welcome into another 7 round mock draft. Today we're going to be doing the pick 10 Cleveland Browns. Obviously, Cleveland had a disappointing year last year. We thought they were going to be doing a lot better than what they did. It was a very disappointing year, but now with their new coach and Kevin Stefanski, new GM as well, and I think that they're going to be able to do a lot more this year, hopefully. We'll see what happens with everything about the trade rumors of maybe Odell moving. We'll see how that's going to go, but overall, they got some things to shore up, and then they should be looking like a better team next year. So we're going to try and address those needs for them. At pick 10, I have them selecting Tristan Wirts out of Iowa. Tristan Wirts is one of the best tackles in this class. He's one of that top four that we have so far in the draft. Andrew Thomas and Mekhi Becton are off the board, so it's between Wirts and Jedrick Wills. The reason I have Wirfs here over Jedrick Wills is I think that he's just a little bit better right now, and I think that's kind of what they need at the moment. I think Jedrick Wills is going to be a great tackle, don't get me wrong. I just think that he might reach his peak a little bit later than these guys. I think he's going to be kind of slow off the bat and have to grow into something. But Tristan Wirfs out of Iowa, 6'5", 320 pounds. He's got 34-inch arms. He's got big hands, 10-inch hands. He ran a 4.85 at the combine, which is very surprising. 24 reps on the bench press. He's a very athletic guy for his size and weight. When you look at what he did at Iowa, I mean, he's just so able to do pretty much anything you can ask a guy at a tackle position. He's able to do run blocking. He's able to stretch out if he needs to go for zones. He's able to just absolutely destroy the weight room and just have that upper body strength, that lower body strength as well. He used to do wrestling in high school. He was a state champion as well, so he's got a lot of strength there. He's able to do pass sets well. He's able to slide his feet, have good transitions, finesse moves with it as well. He gets his hands up quick. I mean, he is an all-around tackle prospect, and that's why a lot of people are falling in love with him. Some weaknesses that I think he has in his game is that he needs to be more consistent with dominating the offensive line. I mean, that fierceness that he shows is insane, but if he's able to use that a lot more often than he actually does in the game, it would be so good for his career. Under that, I think that he also needs to have his change of direction and kind of get into that second level a little bit better. Sometimes he's kind of slow to get out of his first block and go to the second level, which could result in a shorter run. Obviously, when you have a running back like Nick Chubb, that might not be as big of a problem at the NFL level. But overall, I think Tristan Wirfs is going to be an awesome tackle prospect. What I see them doing is probably moving Jack Conklin back over to left tackle, which is what he played in college, and having Wirfs probably play the right. You could put Wirfs on the left side, and I mean, it's very possible as well, but I think that might be the best to have Conklin protect the blind side for Baker. But overall, I mean, getting a guy like Wirfs is going to shore up that tackle spot. And then overall, you have a pretty solid line there as well with what you already had. If they didn't trade Zeitler last year for Vernon, which was just a stupid move on their part, this line would be one of the best in football, getting a guy like Wirfs. So unfortunately, it's not, and they have those problems to fix. But getting an offensive lineman is the biggest need for them at 10, and they are addressing that need here. At pick 41, I have them selecting Antoine Winfield Jr. out of the University of Minnesota, 5'9", 203 pounds. He had a pretty solid combine. He ran a 4.45. He had a 36-inch vertical and 124 inches on the broad jump. Some things that he did at his time in Minnesota, he was there for 4 years, played all 4 years. He only played 4 games in 2017, 2018, but overall in his career, he had 172 tackles. 7 of them were tackles for loss. He had added 4 sacks, 9 interceptions. He also had 2 of those go back for touchdowns, 6 pass deflections. He also forced 2 fumbles and recovered 3 in his time in Minnesota. This is obviously the son of the long NFL tenured Antoine Winfield, who was an absolute beast. I remember him tearing it up for the Vikings back in the day. I mean, he was somebody that I always liked to trade for back in the old Madden days. But when you get a guy like Antoine Winfield Jr., you're getting a guy who is just highly instinctive. He's able to just get where the ball is going to go. He knows where the play is going to be happening. He's able to read the quarterback very well. So that IQ that he has is above everybody else pretty much. He's got ball tracking ability, which is just what you really want your safety to do. When you have a team like the Browns where their safety play has been decent, they got Carl Joseph, and I think that's going to help them, but Sendejo is not going to be a starting safety. I don't think he's worth it. I think that he shouldn't be a starting safety, and they let Demarius Randall go, and now they kind of have to figure out what to replace him with. And getting a guy like Antoine Winfield will do that so well. He's able to create turnovers as well, which is what I think he'll do great. The problem is like I said, he missed those 2 years, 2017 and 2018. He missed a lot of time because of injuries. So you're going to want him to be as durable as possible, be as fit as possible. And I think the NFL trainers and doctors can help him with that. Overall, he's got to also kind of be able to have a little bit better burst, show a little bit more length, because I mean obviously he's 5'9". He's got to be able to play a little bit bigger than what he is. But overall, I think he's a solid prospect. I think getting him on the defense would just absolutely change what they can do. I think him and Carl Joseph will play very well together, and their secondary is going to help a lot more with guys like Greedy Williams progressing, as well as getting Myles Garrett back. Adding a guy like Antoine Winfield Jr. kind of shores up another need on that team to where they're looking pretty good. There's only about one more hole on that defense I think they can fill, and we're going to address that with the next pick. So at pick 74, I have them selecting linebacker Logan Wilson out of Wyoming. Logan Wilson is 6'2", 241. He's got 32.5-inch arms. He ran a 4.63 at the combine, 21 reps on the bench. He also had 32 inches on the vertical. A guy like Logan Wilson, production is where you're looking at for him. He had 2 seasons over 100 tackles. The other 2 seasons were 99 tackles and 94 tackles, 94 being his freshman year, 99 being his junior year. So overall, his career, he had 409 tackles for 34.5 of them tackles for loss. He added 7 sacks, 10 interceptions for 2 touchdowns, 14 pass deflections, and he also forced 5 fumbles and recovered 4 of them. So when you look at a guy like Logan Wilson, what you're getting out of him is just absolute production at the next level. I mean, he is somebody that's going to be able to get the hits, get the ball out of everyone's hands. He kind of plays like a Blake Martinez in my eyes. That's kind of what I think of when I see him. He's just able to just kind of be there all 3 downs, figure out what the play is going to be. He's going to be able to be vocal to the defense, and he's going to be able to shoot the gaps well. He's got the fundamentals. He has the balance. He's got the play recognition to be able to just get through. And he's also athletic enough to play some man coverage as well, which is what you really want your linebackers to do. I think that they have a decent core there with Mac Wilson and Taki. I think a guy like Logan Wilson will help shore up where Schobert is going to be missed a lot, because Schobert was able to do a lot of those things I said. You hope that maybe Logan Wilson can produce enough to at least seem like it's not that big of a gap between them. Obviously, losing Joe Schobert, who was, I think, was 2-time Pro Bowler, is a big loss. But when you get a guy like Logan Wilson, I think that's going to help you out a lot. Some things that he could work on at the next level is that he's got to be able to get to the spot and on the right times, basically. I mean, sometimes he's there a little bit too early. Sometimes he's not getting there as enough. He does have to learn to play a little bit better in coverage as well, obviously. And on top of that, he's got to be able to get past the block a little bit quicker, be able to shed past it to make the plays that we've seen him do at Wyoming for so long. Other than that, I mean, the guy, like I said, been a production machine at Wyoming, could slide into that starting role right away on day one. And with your first 3 picks for the Cleveland Browns, you have 3 starters to help out the few holes that the team has left on its roster. There's a couple other positions that you could still use, but overall, I think the team is looking very nice going into the next season. Then we go over to pick 97. I am selecting edge rusher Willie Gay Jr. out of Mississippi State. Willie Gay Jr. is kind of one of my favorite players in the day 2, day 3 range. 6'1", 243. He's got 32 and 5/8-inch arms, 10.5-inch hands. He ran a 4.46 at the combine, 49.5-inch on the vertical. Added 21 reps as well. He was just an absolute beast to watch at Mississippi State. I love watching his tape. He had 11 sacks in his career with 99 tackles. He also had 3 interceptions, which is kind of cool to see for a guy on the edge, with 4 pass deflections as well. He forced 2 fumbles and recovered 2 as well. A guy like Willie Gay Jr. is going to be more of a project type. He's going to be definitely somebody you can use as depth. But when you have a defensive line like that, he's pretty much just going to be there to sit behind Vernon and Garrett, and then probably you let Vernon go after this year and have Willie Gay slide into that starting role, which is really what I'm kind of picking him for, because I think he'll be able to shore that up very, very well. Some things that suck is that the only reason why he's down here is because he was held out of 8 games in 2019 because he had a violation with the NCAA about an academic tutor. You can read more into that if you want to. I'm not going to really go over it, but some things that he does very well. He is just able to use his strength to get through the edges. He's able to lower his hips. He's able to get down there. When he gets his hands on somebody, he's finishing the tackle, and you know he's going to wrap him up. And there's no way they're getting through him. He's able to read the quarterback's eyes. That's why we see some of the interceptions and pass deflections being what they are. It's because if he sees a quarterback about to do something, he's able to instinctively put his hands up or jump up or whatever he has to do. And also on top of that, he was able to go out wide and break up wide receiver screens, which is very good for him to be able to have that versatility at an edge rusher position. when some things that I think he can work on. I think that sometimes he moves around a little bit too much. He doesn't have to. He could kind of stay set and just kind of get to the backfield a little bit quicker instead of moving around. Also, he's got to be able to control and have a little bit more body composure when he's trying to get through the rush. That way he doesn't get tossed around if he at all. And on top of that, sometimes he's not making the right angles. When he gets his hands on the guy, it's going to go down, but you got to make sure you have the right angles to get to the right tackle. But overall, Willie Gay Jr., I mean, those are things you can coach him on for this year. Have him rotate in and out if you need. And after you let Vernon go after this season is what I'd imagine, because, I mean, I don't think that he's going to get another payday. You get Willie Gay Jr. in there, and you have Gay Jr. and Garrett be your edge rushers for quite a long time. Then at pick 187, I have him selecting offensive tackle Charlie Heck out of North Carolina. Charlie Heck, 6'8", 311 pounds. He got 34-inch arms, 10-inch hands as well. 21 reps on the bench press is probably the best thing about his combine. He was the son of Andy Heck, who was a first-round pick in the 1989 draft. So he started a lot in the NFL as well. So he's got the good genes in him. He's a late-round guy just because there's some things that he definitely has to work on, and that's kind of what it is. Things that I do like about him, though, he's athletic. For a tackle position at his height and weight, you're not expecting him to be able to move around and accelerate as much as he can. I think that's very good. He has that length, so he's able to get in through the blocks more than guys with shorter arms and smaller builds are going to be able to do. So he's able to engage those blocks very quickly, and he's able to recover a lot quicker too. So if he does get beat, he's able to set his feet up and kind of get back into position, hopefully get another push in to save a couple seconds more time. Some things he definitely can work on. He opens up a little bit too early. His hands need to be quicker with it. His pad level needs to be the right way. When he's getting those edge rushing, he needs to be able to keep those shoulders straight. He's got to be having his block a little bit. You see in the picture, his legs are very wide for blocking. You're going to get pushed backwards if you try and do it like that. So, I mean, if you think a guy like Charlie Heck, this is a guy that needs a lot of work. At 187, you're pretty much just looking for a guy to be depth. This offensive line just needs depth, and that's what it is. You already have Jack Conklin on contract. You just drafted Wirts in the first round. Getting a guy like Charlie Heck will be able to fill in when need be and not be such a liability because there is good things about him. He just needs to work on a lot of stuff as well. But overall, I think he could be a very solid depth piece, one of the better backups throughout his career. I think he'll probably just be a career backup, but definitely a solid career backup to where he will fill in and you won't feel the most uncomfortable about it. Then with their last pick at 244, I'm selecting wide receiver Tyrie Cleveland out of Florida. Now, Tyrie Cleveland was a number 2 overall prospect coming out of Houston at the wide receiver position, and it was a very tough road for him. For freshman year, he got arrested with another freshman. They were doing damage in, I think it was the dorm halls with like BB guns and stuff. They got charged with a couple things, which kind of derailed a lot of stuff. Since then, he never really got any production. I mean, the most receptions he's gotten in a season was his senior season with 25 receptions. So he had 1,271 yards on his career, with 16 of them being his average, which is a very good average. He had 8 touchdowns on his career as well. And I think the best things about him was that he was in the kick return game a lot as well, which is something you want. I mean, when you look at what he did there, he had 242 kick return yards. None of them went for touchdown, but he was involved for 2 of his seasons there. Some things that I like about Tyrie Cleveland, he has that upside. He was recruited so highly that I think that's something that you can hopefully build on at the next level. He catches the ball away from his body, basically, so he's able to reach out. His catch radius is very well, is what I'm trying to say, basically. And he's a big target. That's something you like with a guy like Cleveland. But overall, I think that he is going to be able to be more of a special teams guy, be maybe a returner if you need him to be a gunner on punts, those kind of things. Overall, I don't think he's going to be or turn out to be a solid receiver. But, the receiving core behind Odell and Jarvis is kind of slim. So maybe he does get some snaps out there and you can see what he does. Some things that he does need to work on. His route running isn't too good. He kind of gets delayed on his routes. His breaks are kind of not really snappy. They're pretty slow. His movement is kind of gradual. He's not really able to just make those quick movements. So he's able to get checked up a little bit. And on top of that, I think that he needs to use his size a lot more because he can create a lot more separation than what he has been doing at Florida. But overall, getting him as a special teams guy would be awesome. But that's going to be it for the Cleveland Browns mock draft. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below if you agree with the picks. If not, let me know what your mock draft for the Browns is as well. Let me know what your predictions are for the Browns season. Let me know what team you want me to do next as well. I should be coming out with another video later today, so be sure to look for that as well. If you did like the video, be sure to like it and subscribe. If you didn't, refresh the page, try it again, and see how you like it the second time. Without further ado, that is going to be it for me. I'll see you guys in the next video.